Hi. Different techniques of drums in Ableton Live. So we will continue in our previous project. I will just duplicate all the scene and gonna remove the bass, leads and pads from the first scene. Scene is actually the row in our session view matrix. So the very first and very basic technique, which is actually pretty common, is to use a drum rack. How does it work? Each pad, there is some sample of drum. Sample of bass drum, the second bass drum, snare, hi-hat, and so on. Then, using the drums section of Ableton Live, you could choose from dozens or even hundreds of different drum racks to use in your song. Just clicking and pre-listening, previewing them. The most common for techno music is 909 hits. So you could choose this one, not this one, just on your own taste. You see, when you have your track active and just double clicking any drum rack, you're instantly loading it on the selected MIDI track. So let's for now stick with 909 core kit. So for example, we made already a pattern, just a plain standard 4 on the floor. Each of these notes are actually triggering the corresponding pad on the drum rack. And you see how it indicated with these play buttons. And now here we can adjust the sound of each individual pads, each individual sample. I want to make this open hi-hat more wider and add some groove to it. Let's find out the delay in the audio effects section. And we could drag and drop it to pad. So for now, delay is aligned to this open hi-hat pad. Make less feedback, switch it to ping-pong mode and make it more dry. Now you instantly added groove and additional wideness to your sound. And for sure you could play around the controls or drum rack. And even automate and modulate it by clicking with your right mouse button, show automation, draw the automation graph of the knob we selected. In your track, you could have as many drum racks as you want. For example, we could add more MIDI track and find out some new drum racks, some different one. For example, there's 16 snares. Drag and drop. Make some snare variations. Let it be 1, 2. Make the length of the clip 4 bars. Duplicate the notes. Duplicate one more time. And add some variation here, additional on the every second snare. Make it quieter, and let's take a listen. Almost instantly made groove. I think it's too much of this vintageness, so let's make it less. And following this flow, you could fill it by different variations of drums. So it's the technique on how to use the samplers. And the second one method is to make your own drum rack. Let's make it from scratch. We'll need a new MIDI track with empty drum rack on it. And now we can use our own samples. For example, some kick, some snare, hi-hat. Just drop whatever you want. And now we can make the notes. Something like this. Why not if you have a collection of samples? And if you want to make it in the way of tech house or more housey vibe, something like this. But if you're gonna make techno, I recommend you to use just the synthesized drums. So for now, I will delete this drum rack and make the new one. Clear our filter, drum rack. And now let's fill this drum rack with the synthesized drums. So instruments, we need DS kick, DS snare, DS hi-hat, DS clap for sure. We're gonna need a cymbal, why not? And clank as well would be useful. And now when we go into the drum rack and making our notes, let's make it 4-bar length and duplicate everything we have. Make some variations. For example, clap here, and maybe here. Our customized drum rack will play not the samples, but instances of synthesizers. Actually, of 5 synthesizers for now. This clap here. And now we can adjust as a synthesizer every element. For example, to make a kick sound exactly in the note of our track, which is crucial for techno music to have a perfect note of the kick. So we can adjust pitch according to the note. And we even able to use instruments and audio effects racks on the stats. For example, for this kick, let's use some template, which will be actually included with this lesson. It's already pre-made sound of this frequency modulated kick drum with the effect chain over it. And we can't forget about hassle of finding the root note and equalization and so on. So let's choose the root note. Let's take a listen. And the same thing of this synthesized drums. We can adjust many parameters and then save it as our preset. By default, many of them sounds not so fancy, but believe me, when we will tweak it in the right position, you will enjoy the result. So we will cover the drum sound design in the next lessons. For now, let's focus mostly on drum routing for us to have the best sound in the production process. So what's the point? When you are done with your drum pattern, you better to separate your kick drum and your snare drum and your cymbals. You just need to press this button, select your element, for example, this kick drum, and then extract chains. And now we have one more instance of this drum rack just with our kick drum. And here we don't even have this kick drum. We just moved to the neighboring track and neighboring clip. And try to use some audio effects over different drum pads, especially try out delays on hi-hat and snares. See you soon.